Welcome back to the online sessions on AWP. Well, in the today's session, we're going to go with the problems on the antenna arrays. In the previous classes on antenna arrays, we discussed about the derivative part, theoretical part of the antenna arrays. And here, the last topics in this antenna arrays is going to be some of the university problems, and next is pattern multiplications. Okay, so by doing these two, we normally going to end up this particular unit also. So we'll try to do some of the problems which have been given in the university earlier. Okay, so let us take a problem now. The radiation pattern of 2 point array antenna separated by lambda by 2 lambda 2 lambda. So this is what the problem given in the previous exams. So here he may ask you to get the work done by using for a lambda by 2 or lambda or 2 lambda or combination of all of them. So therefore it is better you know the combination of all of them. So as I was talking to you that it is going to be pretty simple. Why it is pretty simple? You should know the basic equation of the electric field from the derivative part of it. So once you remember, if even if you don't know the derivation of this particular electric field at a far point P, you should know the final equation of the electric field at a far point P. And you should know the expression for total phase difference psi. So once if you know these two, then your part is done. Then next is going to be simply a mechanical process. So it's a mechanical process. What I mean by saying is that it is the same procedure repeated continuously for all the types of the antennas. So therefore, the steps which we normally going to follow are the steps which has to be followed for all the types of antenna arrays. So therefore, please follow the steps systematically and come to the final conclusions of the radiation patterns. So here simply draw the radiation pattern of the 2 point source antenna array separated by these three distances. That means here imagine that there is a point source at 1, there is a point source at 2. Now these 2 point sources are separated by distance d, which is equal to lambda by 2 or lambda or 2 lambda or 3 lambda, like that. That is what the problem given. So when that is there, 2 point sources are separated by such a distance, then what is going to be the radiation pattern that you have to find out. So for this, because of these two antennas, we have to find out the electric field at a far point. At a far point, we normally going to have a receiver. Receiver is going to receive this electromagnetic radiations radiated by the transmitting antenna. So at a far point, we normally going to have say some point P, which is nothing but the location of a receiver. The receiver is normally going to receive this electric field. Et is equal to En cos xi by 2, where xi is equal to beta d cos phi plus alpha. So where alpha is the phase angle of the antenna with respect to the ground. Okay, this 2 is anyway going to be 2 as it is here. So this is the equation which we have to remember to solve for the things. Now simple, the concept is going to be very, very simple for us here if you know these two equations. Now here alpha is usually 0. Okay, when there is no phase change, we assume that ideally there is no phase change between the signals of various antennas connected in the array of antennas or used in the array of antennas. So therefore alpha is equal to 0 for us. Now the distance between two antennas d is equal to lambda by 2. First case we'll consider. Beta is a phase constant, 2 pi by lambda formula we have to remember. The next E is equal to, let us substitute d and beta in this particular formula. Alpha is equal to 0 in this formula. Then we simply going to get what? We simply going to get this equation as something like beta d means 2 pi by lambda into lambda by 2 cos phi. So 2 will get cancelled, lambda is normally going to get cancelled for us, and finally we left over with pi by 2 cos phi. This is 0 anyhow, so E is equal to En cos of pi by 2 cos phi we get. Okay, so here once we get this, let us look at here now. Now the procedure is going to be same. We have to find out maximas and minimas. Wherever you have a maxima, you normally going to show the radiation of the antenna in that particular angle with a maximum radiation. Maximum radiation means what? This is the maximum radiated beam. Okay, so we represent that by using a maximum radiated beam along the angle of radiation, of the appropriate angle of radiation. So we have to find out the appropriate angle of radiation for maximas and minimas. Minimas means what? Zero, minimum value of the radiation is called minimum. Well, this is the electric equation now, electric field equation. E is equal to En in general, cos phi by 2, cos phi. So for maximas, when this value is going to maximum, when cos of pi by 2 cos phi, it becomes equal to 1, we normally going to get the maximum value of electric field E. Okay, so this arrow indicates that it is in vector. So electric field is going to produce a maximum value when this component becomes equal to 1. So therefore, for maximas, this cos of pi by 2 cos phi is equal to plus or minus 1, same as the previous discussion we have made. And cos inverse of plus minus 1 is nothing but equal to n pi plus minus n pi. By Taylor's expansion, we can just write trigonometrical expansion. We can have plus minus n pi. Then this pi will get cancelled. We simply going to get cos pi is equal to plus minus, say, 2n. Plus minus 2n. Now, if n is equal to 0, if n is equal to 0, cos phi is equal to 0. So cos is, now when the cos is going to take 0 here, like for phi is equal 90 and phi is equal 270, cos value will be equal to 0. What is cos 90? 0. What is cos 270? It is also going to be 0. So therefore, for phase angles, phi is equal 90 and 270, we are going to get the maximas. This is the condition for maximas. So maximas means not a maximum value we could get. That means this product, whatever this cost component, should be maximum. So for it to be maximum, what condition we have to take? We are proceeding with that and finding out the phase angles over which we get the maximum radiation. So here we just came to know that at phi is equal 90 and 270, we normally going to get the maximum radiation. Now see this we have drawn now. At phi is equal to 90 and 270. This is phi is equal to 90. This is 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees. So at phi is equal to 90 degrees, we have got a maximum radiation. At 270, we have got a maximum radiation. See this radiation pattern now. So this radiation pattern is something like a broadside array radiation pattern, which is always going to be normal to the propagation of the axis of the antenna. So that's what antenna array is normally placed in this fashion, whereas radiation is normally opposite or not perpendicular or normal to the axis of the antenna. So that's why it comes under the broadside array type of the antennas. Let us look into the minimas now. Minimas means minimum value, where we normally going to have the minimum value. Minimum means 0 for us. So that's the minimum is what this cos of this component should be approximated to 0. That's called minimum value for us. So cos of pi by 2 cos phi is equal to plus minus 0 we have to consider. So for this, what we can have, cos inverse of plus minus 0 is plus minus 2n plus 1 pi by 2. So once we get this pi by 2 will get cancelled. Cos pi is equal to, this is the form we have. So when n is equal to 0, we'll be having cos pi is equal to plus minus 1. So when the value of cos phi will be equal to 1, for which angle? Cos 0 is equal to 1. Cos 180 is equal to minus 1. So we should get the value of phi for plus 1 and minus 1. So therefore, cos 0 is equal to plus 1. Cos 180 is equal to minus 1. So that's what we have it here. For cos 0, there is no radiation. For cos phi, there is no radiation. So minimas, we're getting along these axes. You need not show minimas, just only maximas we normally going to show it over there. The next point is going to be half power beam width. Half power beam width is what? The maximum, what is that? For a maximum power transfer, how much should be the power radiated? Maximum power radiated. So we already know that from the frequency response of an amplifier. Same concept is normally used here, because what is the circuits we're going to use in the antenna system? Once again, amplifiers and all, same circuits are normally being used. So therefore, the concept never changed. The concept is going to be that only. So for maximum power radiation, you have to radiate at least half of the power of the transmitter. So if, say for example, if transmitter is capable of radiating around 100 100 kilowatts of power, it should at least radiate with 50 kilowatts of power. If it is going to be more than 50 kilowatts of power, then it is not something like it comes under the maximum power radiation. So here we have to find out half power beam width to transmit the maximum power radiated. Therefore, that is so important for us. Well, so for maximum power radiated, the electric field value should be the rated value, which is going to be called as the RMS value, which is nothing but equal to EM by root 2. So that is what also going to be from the previous electrical technology. We normally going to take this condition. So therefore here EM I can write as equal to maximum electric field, I can write as equal to EM by root 2. This is going to be EM. So this EM will get cancelled. I simply going to get cos of pi by 2 cos phi is equal to 1 by root 2. So therefore this value cos inverse of 1 by root 2 is equal to plus minus 2n plus 1 pi by 4. So pi will get cancelled. 2 will go for 2 times here. So I'll be getting here as 1 by 2. 2n plus 1 of 1 by 2. So for n is equal to 0, so on up to n values, say we'll consider this now. So for n is equal to 0, what we can have now? Cos phi is equal to, it's going to be 1 by 2. Now when the value of cos phi will be equal to 1 by 2, when phi is equal to 60, it will be plus 1 by 2. When phi is equal to 120, it will be equal to minus 1 by 2. So that is what half power will be radiated along the 60 and 120 degrees. So therefore half power beam width is equal to how much? 120 minus 60. How do we draw on the radiation pattern? This is the radiation pattern. So here we consider the circular, that means what, in a omnidirectional antenna for isotropic antenna, we assume the isotropic antenna is going to radiate in all the directions, no? So therefore we consider it as circle, even though it is not 100% circular, but still we can just treat it as a circular kind of a radiation. Now in this radiated pattern, if you observe this carefully, erect a line with an angle of 60 degrees, 120 degrees. Take the protractor to the examination hall and simply mark the 60 degrees, 120 degrees perfectly using the protractor and erect the lines. Draw the lines accordingly. Take the scale, take the protractor, pencil, all these things. You have to draw these diagrams in the examination with the appropriate designations of the antennas, antenna 1, antenna 2, distance D, all these things. And locate the 60 degrees point, 120 degrees point and erect a line. And this radiation, that means this radiated pattern should touch this 120 and 60 degrees line. Okay, so that is how we have to draw this. So the angle between these two is going to be half power beam width. 120 minus 160 is the half power beam width, and this value is nothing but equal to 1 by 2. If this is taken as equal to 1 maximum, this would be equal to around 1 by 2. So that is the conclusion that we have got here from this. Now same problem is extended for D is equal to now lambda. When the lambda is increased, when the D is increased from lambda by 2 to lambda by 2 to lambda, then the radiation patterns are also going to get increased. So this is what the radiation pattern for D is equal to lambda. Let us see how it has simply got increased. So the distance between the two antennas, 1 and 2, D is equal to lambda, here we did. Now formula is same. E is equal to En cos of xi by 2 and xi is equal to beta d cos phi plus alpha. Alpha is 0. Beta is 2 pi by lambda. D is equal to lambda. That is what the condition we have. And finally what we normally going to get here as cos of pi of cos phi. Okay. So when you substitute all these values, lambda is normally going to get cancelled here. Just simply beta d. Beta d means what? Beta is 2 pi by lambda. D is lambda. Okay, D is nothing but lambda. So lambda will get cancelled. So finally I'll be getting here as this formula here as cos of pi, cos phi, all these things when you substitute. Then you will be getting this as for maxima cos of pi of cos phi is equal to plus minus 1. Now little bit it has been changed now in comparison to the previous one. So simply cos inverse of plus minus 1 is equal to plus minus n. We can have plus minus n pi, sorry, plus minus n pi we can have. So this pi will get cancelled and cos pi is equal to plus minus n we get. So n is going to take values from n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. So if n is equal to 0, if n is equal to 0, what we are going to have now? Cos phi is equal to 0. Cos phi is equal to 0 degrees, 90 degrees, and 120 degrees. See, for n is equal to 0, that means when the value of that means what cos phi becomes equal to 0. Cos phi is 0 when phi is 90 degrees and 270 degrees. So we are going to get a maxima at phi is equal to 90 and 270. Okay. Don't bother about this. This is a wrong representation. The next one is for n is equal to 1, cos phi is equal to plus or minus 1. Because n is 1 here. So I just substitute 1 over here. So therefore cos phi is equal to plus or minus 1. So when the value of cos phi becomes equal to plus 1, when phi is equal to 0 degrees. When it is going to become minus 1, when phi is equal to 180 degrees. So therefore we are going to get maximas along the 90 degrees, 270 degrees, 0 degrees, and 180 degrees. So this is what the radiation pattern we have got. That means once you increase the distance between the two antennas from lambda by 2 to lambda, the radiation patterns got double now. Okay. That means we get a more effective radiation once you simply increase the distance between the two antennas with respect to the wavelength of the wave which we are propagating. Similarly, minima points. Now, minima points anyway we don't show, even though we don't show, but in the examination, you have to write the expression for minima values as well, because you should indicate them 60 degrees, 120 degrees, 240, 300. Even if you don't draw the radiation pattern in that, but you have to indicate that particular uh, phase angles. So cos phi is equal to 0 we have, and this is same as the previous one, like plus minus cos phi uh, pi cos phi is equal to plus minus 2n plus 1 pi by 2. This pi will get cancelled, finally left over with this. Now same story, cos phi is equal to plus minus 1 by 2. So for n is equal to 0, we get 60 degrees and 120 degrees. N is equal to 0, we'll be having cos phi is equal to this equation 1 by 2 plus minus 1. So when phi is equal to 60 degrees, it is going to be plus 1 by 2. When phi is equal to 120 degrees, it is going to be minus 1 by 2. Similarly, when you go with n is equal to 1, it's going to be something like 3 by 2. So similarly, we will be getting a phi value as 240 and 300. So for 60, 120, 240, 300. See, where is 60 here? For 60, 120, 240, 300. You have to show this particular minima lines where no signal will be radiated, but you have to show by using the dotted lines. Okay, so this is what the radiation pattern which we can normally show it here, right? Now here for half power beamwidth, you find out the half power beamwidth along one direction, similar to the previous case. Find out for only one direction, that will be repeated for all the other directions of the radiation patterns. Now next case, last case, let us consider as the distance between the two antennas. Here I have not shown here because it is simply repeated version, but in the exam you please show everything clearly, even though it is a repeated version. So this is going to be, say, antenna 1, antenna 2, distance between the two antennas is going to be 2 lambda. So in that case, we normally going to have E is equal to, we will be getting as 4 pi cos phi by 2 we'll be having. So finally I'll be having here psi is equal to cos phi. So just simply we just proceed further to find out the things now. This 2 will get cancelled here, and I'll be getting here 4 goes with 2 times here, and I'll be getting 2 pi cos phi here. So I'll be having this like this. So here what happens is the number of parameters is n values are simply going to increase. Thereby the radiation patterns are also going to increase here. See here. Cos of 2 pi cos phi is equal to plus minus 1. So cos inverse of plus minus 1 is equal to plus minus n pi. So pi will get cancelled. I'll be having plus minus n by 2. If n is equal to 0, anyway, same as the previous one where I'll be having pi is equal to 90 degrees, 270 degrees, cos phi value would be equal to 0. Similarly, n is equal to 1. It's going to be same as the previous one, 60, 120. That means the previous cases will be simply repeated, because we are just simply is something like when you go from at a particular place, say from Hyderabad to Warangal, you will be always going to cross the same kind of things here whenever we move. So that means starting points will be there, starting points, same villages will be crossing. Similar to that here, the previous criterias will be coming over here continuously, right? So that means it's a repetitive work. That's what I was talking to you. If n is equal to 2 now, cos phi is equal to what I'll be having, plus minus 1. So phi is equal to, when the value of cos phi will be equal to 1, it is 0. When it is be minus 1, it's going to be 180. That means, what are all the inclinations where we get maxima? We get maxima when it is 0, 180 is one maxima we get, and 60, 120, one maxima we get, 243, one maxima, 92, 70, another maxima. See these maximas now? See, these many maxima values we normally going to get. Okay. So that means how many radiations that we have got now actually? How many patterns we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 patterns we have got. How many angles we have? This 2, it's going to be 2 plus 4, 6 plus 2, 8. So 8 patterns we normally going to get over here. Similarly, minimas we can just go ahead and we just going to get the appropriate angles over here for minimas as well. And you have to draw all these minimas also, like phi is equal to 76 degrees, phi is equal to 42 degrees. You have to show it here also. So phi is equal to 42, 76. Okay. So these minima values also you just show by dotted lines. Okay. And finally, what is the conclusion we can just simply draw from this? See here, the radiation patterns of groups with respect to lambda multiples. What we have now? D is equal to lambda by 2. When distance between the two antennas is lambda by 2. How many number of patterns we have got? 2 patterns. First one. 2 patterns we have got. So remember the first one we have. See, when D is equal to lambda by 2, when D is equal to first case is lambda by 2, we have got 2 patterns. Now, when D is equal to lambda, we have got 4 patterns. Similarly, we have got 4 patterns. When D is equal to 2 lambda, we have got 2 power 3, 8 patterns. D is equal to 3 lambda, 2 power 4. That means always we'll be getting in terms of 2 power 1, 2 power 2, 2 power 3, 2 power 4. So in powers of 2, this particular thing is becoming, if it is going to be lambda by 2, 2 power 1. If it is going to be lambda, it's going to be 2 power 2. It's going to be lambda, 2 lambda, it's going to be 2 power 3. It's going to be 3 lambda, 2 power 4 I'll be getting. So accordingly, I'll be having these number of patterns. So this is what the various radiation patterns that we get from the two isotropic point sources for various distances between the antenna elements. And the last topic in this unit is going to be the principle of pattern multiplication. Now the effective or a final radiated pattern the received antenna is going to be like with respect to the radiation pattern of the antenna. So the effective radiation pattern, how do we find out? See, this is what the effective radiation pattern that we normally going to have it here. Okay. So we have to find out the effective radiation pattern of all of this particular area of antennas. How do we find out? Okay. Now here, according to the principle of radiation pattern multiplication, what we can say, the radiation pattern of an antenna works on the principle of pattern multiplication. Now there is a formula for pattern multiplication to find out. So that is what called a principle for us here, which is the product of identical. This point is important, which is the product of the pattern of identically individual antennas. That means if we normally going to have a monopole antenna in the array, all the antennas are going to be monopole antennas. If you have a dipole antennas on the array, you will be having all the dipole antennas on the array. So like that, identically individual antenna is going to be like that. So that means the parameters, the antenna should be of same type and its characteristics should be of same type. Then only we can able to have this kind of a pattern. So if you really change the different antenna types and want to really get the things, it's not the solution for that. Okay. So and the pattern, it has to multiply, or it is a product of the pattern of the identically individual antennas. So just now we have seen the 2 point source radiation patterns. 2 points of radiation patterns based on the distance now, right? So here also radiation patterns is going to ask radiation patterns based on the distance as well, but the starting point is going to be lambda by 2. So therefore I am explaining with lambda by 2. Rest of the things you can just simply extend this for various lambda values, but anyway all of them will be coming here because we are considering about the resultant radiation pattern. So therefore the what is this radiation pattern now? It is nothing but a product of identical individual antenna pattern and the pattern of an array of isotropic point sources, each located at the phase center of the individual source and having the same relative amplitude and phase as given below. Now how can we simply find out the total electric field radiation pattern is equal to field pattern of the individual source. So this is what the field pattern f of theta comma phi. So we will be definitely, as I was talking to you, for the radiation pattern of an antenna, we'll be considering a spherical coordinate system. So therefore, we consider theta and phi. So therefore, the field patterns of individual source, one source in that particular thing we are going to consider, and we apply product into f of theta comma phi, which is nothing but the field pattern of the array. Field pattern of the array. 2-point source. If you are going to consider 2-point source, we have to multiply the 2-point source field pattern with the individual field pattern. Okay, so the resultant is normally going to be the resultant field which we receive at the far point. That is the resultant field which we are going to have. Okay, now this particular pattern equation has been represented in terms of polar form. What is polar form? You're going to have a magnitude with a phase angle which we normally going to represent, which is known as a polar form representation. So total phase pattern is referred as a phase center of an array, as a phase center of the array. Now let us solve one small problem now. Pattern multiplication of 4 isotropic point sources. Right. We can go it for 4, we can go it for 8. In the exam, once pattern multiplication of 8 isotropic point sources has been asked. So therefore, better we go with 4, then we extend it to 8 now. So it's going to be very, very simple. Now for this to do, you should know this previous pattern multiplication pattern. So you should better remember the radiation patterns of the isotropic antennas, 2 points of isotropic antennas for various distance of separations with respect to lambda. So if you already know the radiation patterns, you can do it very fastly. Unfortunately, once this particular question has been asked for only 2 marks. So if it is asked for 2 marks, you cannot go at a length. So therefore, you have to finish up the task in just 2 to 3 minutes. So for that, better you know the radiation pattern of the antenna. So once if you know the radiation pattern of the antenna, you can easily going to do this. Right. Now let us look into the pattern multiplication for isotropic point sources. So now the 4 antennas we consider here as going to be what now? Let us say 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are known as the 4 point sources, considered as 4 antennas connected in an array. Now here all these antennas are separated by a distance of lambda by 2. So by default, when nothing is asked, you can consider lambda by 2 as the distance of separation between the 2 antennas, because that is the ideal distance which is required or to be maintained between the 2 antennas for a radiation to happen. So therefore, we consider initial condition as lambda by 2 as the starting point. And what is the form, what is the pattern we have to follow now? It is going to be the multiplication of the pattern of individual antenna and the group antenna. So here, what is the group of 1 and 2? X1 is the group of 1 and 2, which has been taken exactly at the middle of this particular 2 antennas. The distance is taken as exactly at the middle of this antenna. We consider another virtual antenna, which is going to be exactly at the middle of these 2 antennas. Similarly, these 2 antennas are exactly at the middle of these 2 antennas is going to be X2. So here, let us proceed further now. X1, what is X1? X1 is known as group of the 2 point sources 1 and 2. X2 is known as the group of the 2 point sources, obviously 3 and 4. So therefore, now what I am doing now, I am grouping these two. Therefore, I am putting them in a rectangular bracket. So this is these two I am grouping, these two I am grouping. So since I am grouping these two, I am putting this in a box, rectangular box, to say that we are grouping 1 and 2. We are grouping 3 and 4. right? So we should, like this, we should go on group this until we get a 2 point sources, because our reference is going to be 2 point sources. So therefore we should compulsorily come up to 2 point sources. This hierarchy should get decreased to a level of 2 point sources. Now we have simply decomposed this up to 2 point sources. So here one antenna constitutes bigger antenna array whose radiation pattern is a function of location of antennas in an array and amplitudes of the electric fields. So the final, that means what is the, this is nothing but a x1 is nothing but a virtual location of a group of antennas 1 and 2. Similarly, x2 is a virtual location for the group of antennas of 3 and 4. So, so first step is what now? First step is what? We have grouped. We have to first of all group. What is the second step? You have to multiply. Once we group, then we multiply. That's all. So next multiplication means what? Total pattern is equal to unit pattern. Unit pattern means what? In this particular first group, we have antennas 1 and 2. Either antenna 1 or antenna 2's radiation pattern you have to use. That has to be multiplied with the group pattern. What is group pattern? Group pattern is x1 pattern. So this is what you have to multiply here to get the effective pattern. Right now, here all these antennas are identical antennas. Then only we can able to do this particular kind of a find out the this kind of radiation pattern. Now let us go on finding out the radiation pattern now. Now, resultant pattern of x1 and x2 you have to find out finally. So therefore, x1 and x2 are the singular units. Now they have become like a singular units whose phase center lie in the center of the two antennas. Right. Now, what is the distance between this x1 and x2 has become now? See here. This is at the center exactly. This is the center exactly. So therefore, this distance is going to be lambda by 2, and this distance is also, these two are normally added up to be lambda by 2. This is lambda by 4, lambda by 4. When you add up all these things, we definitely going to get lambda. So that means uniformly this particular distance is varying. Therefore, we'll be getting here the distance between the two virtual locations of the antennas x1 and x2 would be definitely lambda we're going to get. So therefore, that is what the key here. So the distance between these two is normally going to become like a lambda. Now, what is that formula we have? Resultant pattern is equal to unit pattern of either x1 or x2. Unit pattern of either x1 and x2. What is x1? X1 is nothing but the group. So in the previous slide, we have seen about the radiation pattern of 2 point sources. What is the radiation pattern of 2 point sources that I have seen? Yeah, this is the radiation pattern of the 2 point sources. See, this is the radiation pattern of 2 point sources we have seen. Simply, we are going to use this particular radiation pattern. Then next, we have seen the radiation pattern for D is equal to lambda. 4 radiation patterns we have seen, right? Now, these two cases have come over here. That's it. So already we did the task. Simply, we are using that radiation patterns here to draw the effective radiation pattern. So in the exam, you should remember these radiation patterns for D is equal to lambda by 2, D is equal to lambda, D is equal to 2 lambda. If you remember them, it is really well and good. If it is for 3 marks question, you need not go for a derivative part of this particular radiation patterns. You have to remember the radiation pattern, simply you have to draw the appropriate things, right? So that's what the thing we're going to have. If it is given for 8 marks or 10 marks, then definitely you have to go for the entire derivative part as we have did in the previous slides. All right. So here unit pattern of either x1 or x2 is going to be same. So it's going to be a broadside area radiation pattern for D is equal to lambda by 2 multiplied by group pattern of x1 and x2. What is the group pattern of x1 and x2? X1 and x2 is the antennas separated by distance lambda, and we have found out the radiation pattern for the 2 point sources separated by lambda is going to be of 4 radiation patterns that we have already got previously. Just now we have seen. So simply we are going to multiply these two. When you multiply these two, where is the zero radiation we have? At 0 degrees 180 we have 0 here. So 0 into something is anyway 0. So we are going to get a maximum. Now the radiation is going to be maximum because we are simply adding these two. So definitely the radiation pattern is going to be shown maximum radiation in comparison with these two radiated values. So please draw the radiation pattern which is going to be somewhat more than these two radiation pattern. So we'll be having like this radiation patterns. And now between this 120 and 180, 120, 180, we're going to have the minimas. So you normally draw this minima here, and between these two also there is a before the resultant pattern, we're going to have some pattern here, right? So therefore, rather minima here. Here also minima you get. Here also minima you get between this line and 270 degrees line. You get a minima here. See this minima. So here also you're going to get a minima nearer to the 180. So like this, draw the minima. This is going to be the resultant radiation pattern of the four isotropic point sources. Okay. So now the resultant pattern is known as the rough pattern or rapidly sketchable pattern of an antenna, of an array of antennas. So X1 and X2 are formed from the broadside array of the antennas. Okay. Now let us extend our discussion with 8-point sources. Draw the radiation pattern of the 8-point sources. So how do we draw the radiation pattern of 8-point sources? By using once again the principle of the pattern. Multiplication, we normally perform this particular radiation pattern. Now we have, let us take the 8 isotropic antennas. See, we will be having the antennas going to be like 2, 4, 8, 16 like that. Okay, it is always better to have, even if it is not there, then if it is not going to be odd number, then we have to go with another type of the antenna called a binomial type of the antenna that we discuss as the last topic in our subject of antenna arrays. Okay, now first of all, let us go with the 8 isotropic point sources. In these 8 isotropic point sources, I have 8 antennas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So make the group 2 2 as a group as x1, x2, x3, x4. So each antenna is separated by lambda by 2, lambda by 2. So therefore the distance between these two is going to be lambda. The distance between these two is going to be lambda. Distance between these two is going to be lambda. Now now we have to group these two and these two. Middle of these two I have to take here. Okay, to form another group. So we should decompose this until we get 2-point sources. That is what our analysis we do. So patterns of this x1, x2, x3, x4 we should have compulsorily first of all with us. So x1 pattern is going to be broadside array pattern we just discussed previously. Similarly, x2, x3 and x4, all these patterns are going to be similar to us. So similar to the previous one, pattern of x1 is nothing but group pattern of 1 and 2. Similar group pattern of x2 is equal to group pattern of 3 and 4, like that we normally going to have. Now once we have x1, x2, x3, x4 we can form. Then when you group these two, we get a group of x12. When you group these two, group of x34. The suffix 34 tells about its childs. Now pattern of x12. What is the pattern of x12? Pattern of x1 or x2 multiplied by group of x1 and x2. That is the formula we have. Simply you use this particular formula here to get into that. Similarly for pattern of x4, sorry, pattern of x34, x of 34. So first of all, let us go with this first one now. What is group of x1, group of x2? It's going to be the 2-point source radiation pattern for a distance d is equal to lambda by 2. So we got this kind of a pattern there. And next one, group pattern of x1 and x2. It's going to be group pattern of the array of antennas separated by a distance of lambda. So if separated by distance of lambda, we normally going to get 4 radiations similar to the previous one. This is the group pattern of this x12 we are going to have. Similarly, we are going to have 3 by 4. Same kind of thing we normally going to get repeated for 3 by 4. Now, what is the effective resultant one now? Finally, resultant one is going to be what now? Now, this is what the group pattern of the first one. This one, sorry, this is nothing but x12 or x34 pattern. Then group pattern of these two is what? 2 lambda. What is the 2 lambda pattern? 2 lambda means what? We normally going to get a 2 power 3 patterns. So 8 patterns we're going to get. 8 patterns we're going to draw. When you simply draw these 8 patterns, then simply multiply these two. We normally going to get these two kind of patterns. See, the maximum radiation is along only 0 and 90. 0 and 90 only maximum radiations. And wherever you have this pattern here, so at that particular point, we normally going to get the null patterns. So that means minimum leakage patterns are called null patterns. Small patterns we normally going to get. So this is what the overall resultant radiation pattern of an antenna. So this is what the pattern multiplication to find out the total radiation pattern of an antenna. So with this, we will come to an end to this particular session. Now you can observe here carefully that this is going to be pretty simple and pretty straightforward. If you know one starting procedure that is simply getting repeated and repeated continuously, it's going to be very easy to score in the examination. And next topic we're going to cover after this antenna arrays is going to be the S matrix. That is also going to be very easy as far as our sorry, this is after this unit. We normally go with the another one that is going to be called as a wave propagation. So already wave propagations, we have covered most of the wave propagations in very first class, but we just simply go somewhat depth into the wave propagations. That is also going to be very easy, theoretically total very easy. So 100%, the last 2 units are going to be really very easy for us to really go through. So please concentrate on this antenna arrays, because it is going to give us a full marks. Thank you very much for the today's session.